my friends, it's Connie again. Welcome to today's video in which I would like to talk about the different ways we can live a more minimalist, simple life, because it's not just about sizing down your belongings and having less stuff in your closet. I believe minimalism in itself, the philosophy, this approach to life, goes way further than just the amount of stuff that you own. So I want to give you a few ways in which I personally try to live a simpler, more minimalist life, because it's really about the question, what adds value to my life? What is really essential in my life? What is clutter? And clutter exists in all areas of life. One thing that I do basically every morning to simplify what's going on here is to meditate. I meditate for many different reasons, and I recently made a video that I'll link up here. But it is really also about clearing your mind and getting rid of all this clutter, of all the monkeys up there. Or not necessarily getting rid of them, but just kind of calming them down and finding more grounding. And for me, meditation is so good when I'm so full up here, or maybe I feel overwhelmed or stressed. Or just, I would just like to begin my day with a clear mind. So that's one way to be a minimalist in your head, in your mind, in your thoughts. Number two, with regards to working and running a business, and I have to practice this every single day, is instead of multitasking, I really try to monotask. I can be so much more creative and get more stuff done and be so much more present with what I'm working on when I'm monotasking, rather than when I'm trying to do 5 things at the same time and have all these tabs open and just really trying to do one thing after another. What helps me with this is to reduce the amount of items on my to-do list, because I used to put all these things on my to-do list thinking I'd get through them in a day, but usually I would tick off maybe 3 or so, and then I'd always feel a bit disappointed because I never made it through an entire to-do list. And so my simpler, more minimalist approach is to just put 3 main things on my to-do list, and that helps me to stay focused, to monotask. Say, okay, I'm going to do this in the morning, this in the afternoon, this in the late afternoon. Number 3 is one that I'm practicing right now, actually. It's when it comes to food. So for one, I am fasting right now. I'm doing a juice fast. And that's one way I believe to approach nutrition in a very minimalist way, not because I'm starving myself of food, but just to kind of really get rid of everything I don't need, of all the sugars and the coffee and the alcohol, and really come back to the basic nutrients coming from vegetables. And the other thing is, for example, living here in Bali, there's so many restaurants, or living in a big city, so many restaurants, and a lot of times I'm just so overwhelmed to make a choice on where to go and have, lunch or dinner. So instead of constantly having to choose among this wide variety of places to go, I size down this list to about 4 or 5 places, and those are basically the only places I go to, and that makes my life so much easier. There is not much to think about. I kind of know in the morning I'm gonna go there for lunch and go there for dinner, and that's it. I also actually really like going to the same place over and over again. So there's one place where I go sometimes for lunch and dinner, maybe even 2 or 3 days in a row, and I don't even care or feel bad about that. So that for me is really simplifying decision-making processes and the capacity to save the capacity in my head for more important things. I do also cook sometimes, but it depends on where I live. In Bali, it's just so much easier and more affordable to go out to eat. But when I do cook, I also try to keep it very simple. I usually make myself a lot of Buddha bowls with, different veggies, but most of the time they're pretty similar. Also, I like making myself a porridge in the mornings. So I tend to keep it pretty straightforward, simple, very minimalist in my kitchen too. And that's also really good for my stomach when it comes to food combination. The simpler, the better, actually, to digest. instead of having 5 million different ingredients and all these different sauces and processed things, I try to keep it clean, unprocessed, plant-based, and just simple. Number 4, when it comes to traveling, here's a couple ways you can approach it in a more minimalist way. Number 1, I mostly only travel with hand luggage only, carry-on. That in itself forces you to size down all the things you want to take on your trip or traveling. And in that way, also for me as a digital nomad, it keeps my life extremely simple. I can pack up quickly. I don't have to check in my luggage. I save time. Oh man, it's just so much easier to travel just hand luggage only. So definitely try that one out, even on longer trips. And the other thing is, when you are on a trip, instead of wanting to go out and see everything, just go and see less. Maybe just even stay in one place rather than going to 5 different places. Maybe just try and see 3 sites instead of the 10. So that's one way to be more minimalist when you travel, because you really then focus on the things that really bring value to you rather than trying to do as much as possible and clutter your iPhone storage with all these photos. Try to take less photos, only the photos that you think really stand out for you. And the last thing, number 5, is people and social life. So for me, it's really important to consider what people I spend my time with, how their energies are, and how we can both add value to each other. So I'm very picky and I'm very minimalist actually with my really good friendships and how I spend my days with other people. It also means that I had to learn how to say no a lot more. Back in the days, I would, try to make everybody happy, or, because I felt lonely, or, you just kind of want to be social and have a good time, or distract yourself from certain other things that are not as pleasant in your life. And in that way, I had to learn how to say no more and really kind of make an inventory of all the people that I know and have in my life, but who are the ones that are draining my energies as well. And so instead of focusing on too many friendships and people in my life, I really try to focus and give as much energy and attention and love to the ones that go really deep and that are really, really important to me and essential. And that for me feels so much better. I'm not as scattered with my attention. So this is what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed my video. Let me know in the comments what you do to live a more minimalist, a simpler life. What helps you to really figure out what adds value to your life. I'd love to know. Otherwise, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed my video, and I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Bye. Mwah.